Last week on Talking Tesla, Tom asked a really important question. This J1772 standard EV charger, how do I get that to work in his new Tesla when it has a different connector? It won't go in there. You see, the Tesla charger looks like this, like some kind of an alien, and it fits right in there. Look. So how can we make this happen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Well, it turns out that Tesla gives you a big bag of toys, lots of different ways to connect to different power sources. And one of the toys you get in there is this puppy. And this puppy converts your RJ111777,000 standard EV charger, and magically it will now fit into your Tesla. Ta-da! Now actually on the Tesla website there's some really useful information because it's confusing. There's lots of different ways to charge a Tesla and lots of EVs at different rates and different this and different that. So here's a few thick things. So here's on the Tesla website, there's your charge port, we just showed you, okay, and the charger's in here somewhere and the battery's down the bottom. And this is the Tesla wall connector that you can get installed at your house. And here is the mobile connector that I showed you with all the different ends that you can plug into standard outlets or not so standard outlets. One of the first things to tell you is that all Teslas come with a supercharger connector. So somewhere built in here is the ability to do supercharging, which means direct current, which means really fast at the Tesla supercharger network throughout the US, Europe, and other places. You can also have built in here just a single charge system for AC, for alternating current. Or you can get dual alternating current charger, and that's important if you really want to charge fast at home. Let's say this puppy here. This runs off AC, it runs off your home. If you get the full 80 amps that you want to charge your car really fast at about 60 miles per hour at home, you have to get 2 of these chargers in there instead of 1. Again, it's separate. This dual charging system is different from the supercharging system. One is AC for the wall, one is DC for the supercharger. If you just have one charger in here, you only get about 30 miles per hour of charge. If you have 2 and a fast charging unit like this, you can get up to 60 miles an hour. So if you actually go down here on the Tesla website, it also explains about your other connectors and stuff you have. So here again is the mobile connector. This one comes with a Tesla with all the different bits you can put on the end into different types of outlets, whether it be EV outlets, whether it be your home, or whether it be something like even your dryer plug at home. And you can get up to 30 miles an hour of charge using this puppy. They've got a guide here. So these are some of the standard plugs, and you get about 3 miles per hour. This is one that they have in there, which some people have for their dryers. It's still 110 volt, 15 amps, so it gets about 4 miles per hour of charging. And then this one, you'll see at a lot of campsites, the NEMA 1550. See this at a lot of campsites. It's 240 volt, 40 or even 50 amp, and you can get about 30 miles per hour of charge. So at home, if you want the fastest way to charge, you get a dual charging system in your car already built in when you set it up. And then you get an 80 amp Tesla charger, and you'll probably have to have an electrician come and set that up for you because that's a lot of juice. In fact, when I had my electrician come and set mine up, he's like, dang, that is a huge amount of amperage. And that'll get you about 60 miles per hour of charge. And then when you're on the road, you can go do supercharging directly, direct current, really fast, about 170 to 200 miles in 30 minutes, which is great when you're on road trips. You can even go further down on the website here and ask a few questions, and it'll help you work out what is the best form of charging for you. Okay, so here's another thing I like on the website. Let me just give you an example of the difference in time. So let's say you're doing 50 miles a day, and you're going to plug in and you say, I want to get that 50 miles back. If you use just a standard charger here in the US, 110 volt, 12 amp, it's going to take you 15 hours to get that 15 miles of charge. But if you use sort of a 240 volt RV like 240 volt, 40 amp, you can do it in just an hour. And if you max out, have the dual charging system in your car, from the wall connector with 80 amps, you can get it down to 51 minutes. And 50 miles of charge on a supercharger, you're out on the road, you just need 50 miles, then you can do it in maybe 5 minutes maybe 10 minutes you can get it done. Now, just to make it even more confusing, there is a group which has Nissan and other car manufacturers which use a DC fast charging network called CHAdeMO. And so it looks a little like this. So you can actually get a CHAdeMO adapter for your Tesla. So you'll plug in this adapter and then you can charge your Tesla pretty fast because this is DC. And it costs about $500 to get that adapter for your Tesla. So if you're driving around a lot around the world and you decide, look, there's not enough Tesla superchargers, but there's a lot of CHAdeMO chargers around, it might be worth you spending $500 for an adapter for this thing. And this is actually the picture of a Nissan Leaf, which has that standard J1772 plug-in and the CHAdeMO DC charger. So that's another way you can charge your Tesla. And I met a lot of people who travel a lot around the country in their Teslas who carry these CHAdeMO adapters as well because sometimes they want a fast charge but they're not near the Tesla network. I know there's just so many things. So many. Now, there's even another ripple here. If you're getting a Model X, the charging that comes standard with a Model X is the Supercharger fast DC in the network, right? But then the standard charging for the Model X is actually a 48 amp AC charger at home, which is not that fast. But it's fast enough for most people. If you want to get as fast as you can at home, 72 amp, look at this, 72 amps instead of actually in the Model S an 80 amp charger. So it's not going to be as fast as 60 miles an hour. Maybe it's closer to 50 miles an hour. In order to get that, as you're configuring your X, what you have to do is go over and as you're configuring, you actually have to type in charger, no quotes. As you're configuring, up will pop this little Easter egg. This is hidden. They obviously don't want you to do this 2 amp charger in your X because the story behind the story is that these two charger systems in the S were a bit of a problem. They broke a lot. So they'd rather you just have one pretty fast 48 amp charger. But if you really want to have a 72 amp charger, you can as you're configuring. Just type charger over the top of the configuration area and this will pop up and you'll be able to get that as an option. Oh, it's just so many different options. But we're going to get through this. We're going to keep explaining it on our podcast, which we hope you're enjoying. Talking Tesla with Tom and Mel.